The GameCorp Retro Review. I am Chad. He is Matt. We do game reviews. We have 5 categories. We'll break them down to you real fast. They are graphics, sound, gameplay, fun factor, challenge. They are exactly as they sound. Graphics is graphics, sound is sound, gameplay is how the game plays. Fun factor is how much we enjoyed it, and the challenge is whether or not it's worth it or not. This week it's Bart meets Radioactive Man. We do this one at a time. Matt, give me your grades out of 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. It cannot be better than 5. It cannot be worse than 1. Matt, start with graphics and go on your way.
All right, when it comes to graphics, I feel like this is an actual improvement over all of the games currently on the NES here. There's much more variety this time in level design. There's also much more enemy variety too. Animations are a lot better. And the color palette's a lot nicer here too. I think everything actually works and functions fairly well. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. I would have to say I'm sitting somewhere around probably a 3. It's probably the best it's been so far. Sound, once again, I might sound redundant here, but it's another improvement over the prior games, and that's because for once you're not hearing the uh, same track over and over again. At least now with the stages, they've changed it a little bit. Now, does that mean they changed it to anything decent? It's average. So it's not great, but sound effects are stock. They're okay, and they work all right. Um, so again, like yes, yeah, anything is better than hearing it one time, but it doesn't mean it's great. So I'm gonna be another average score here. I'm gonna go with a 3. And gameplay, this is where I'm in a mixed bag here because the gameplay itself, the variety has changed, but the core mechanics to a degree in some aspects still haven't. But the way this game is designed, it doesn't make it that much of a hindrance as it was in the prior games. Like you don't have to use it as much here. So I can't fault it too much. I just really wish they would change the map, the jumping of the and the run button thing to something else because it never works like that. But still positive overall, and I would have to say a much needed improvement and mostly worthwhile actually. I think I'm gonna actually go pretty high here. I'm gonna go with a solid 4. When it comes to fun factor, at first I didn't have a lot of fun with this. I was struggling to, but over time I started to enjoy the surprisingly amount of variety in the level design that really kept me interested in the different having actual boss fights and having actual excitement in the stages, not just being stock things over and over again. It wasn't bad for what it was, and I think I'm going to stick with a. I think I'm going to go keep it at the average though, not too high. I think I'm going to stick with a 3. And challenge this, it's not that hard. It's you can actually in this one you can actually work with the controls. I think it's actually worth playing. It is rewarding to a degree once you've played all through all of it. And I would have to sit probably, I'm not even going to lie here, probably sit at a 4.
So that means I'm up. I agree. The graphics are pretty dang nice. I really like the versatility and the uniqueness in this game compared to others. It's an NES game, so you're not going to be sitting here looking at the real life images that you see in games of the modern era. But it's cute. It's identifiable. It's unique to a degree. So I got to give it a 4. I was really impressed with the looks. The sound, I agree. It doesn't have any standout bangers. You're not going to be humming this like Mario or Link or whatever kind of themes. But the one thing I did like about it was the music was tailored to different levels, and especially in like level 2, it really kind of gave you a vibe that you were like Batman or Superman through the music. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'll give it a 3. Gameplay, it's a standard platformer as far as I'm concerned in a lot of regards, but it's also not. I'm not a big platforming guy, so that's going to be one of those for me that I'm always very hit or miss on. But the versatility and the uniqueness in the gameplay definitely did, leave it to a place where I thought it was much more enjoyable than the standard platforming affair. So I gave gameplay a 3. As far as fun factor, superheroes, peak era Simpsons, goofiness, those are all very much things I'm a big fan of. Again, though, the styling of the gameplay just didn't really appeal to me all that much, so I can't give it too high of a mark, but I will give it a 3 as well. And finally, as far as challenge goes, I thought the game was a very unique taste of the early '90s, late '80s kind of stylings of NES and Simpsons culture, pop culture. So I thought that was a very fun little thing to kind of dive in on as well. And seeing all those things helps appeal to the desire to play it. It wasn't that hard to play, and it wasn't mind-numbingly tedious either. So I thought the challenge was fair, and it gives you enough variety to keep you hooked into it. I give it a 3 as well. Overall, we combine our scores and we find the average. So all together now, it's 3.5 for the graphics, 3 for the sound, 3.5 for the gameplay, 3 for the fun factor, and 3 for the challenge, for a grand total of 16.5 out of 25. That gives us a final score of 66%. That's the final score of the game. It is playable. It is worthwhile if you're interested. It's not an all-time grade. It's not something you should go out and find, but it's worth your time if you're a fan of The Simpsons. So check it out. For Matt, I'm Chad. Go to realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com, or on Twitter at NERDCORP. We'll see you guys next week for another edition of the GameCorp Retro Review. If you're on Twitch, stick around for the podcast. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. Matt, say goodnight.
Good night, everybody.